Bam, 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 bam. Booyah, 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 booyah. What's going on? What's going on, people? It's game day. It's game day. Let's go. Let's get ready. Let's get pumped. Let's get ready. Let's get pumped. Are we live? Make sure you watch your ads. I did not monetize this. Whoops. Whoops. Hopefully it's good now. There we go. All right, what's going on, people? What's going on, people? We got Matthew in the chat. We got Davey, Joe, Unlimited Liquid, Jukesy, Lars, Talking Giants myself. What's going on, everybody? Where is Bobby Skinner? I mean, I guess that's the question that everybody has. The question that everybody has, where's Bobby Skinner? Bobby Skinner's still not feeling good. He's not breathing well today. He got steroids, so he actually was not stubborn, and he did go to the doctor, which is great. But Bobby's still not feeling well, so got to improvise a little bit. Got to still talk some Giants. Bobby's doing all right. He's doing all right. He's struggling, man. He didn't have COVID. He got the flu. But we got Giants game. We got Giants game today. They're playing the Los Angeles Chargers. 4:00 game, not a 1:00 game. 4:00 game if you're on Eastern Standard Time. So keep that in mind. Watch some Red Zone. Watch some other games for that 1:00 slot. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to enjoy it, try to make some content for that. Joey. Hey, yo. I went to the Islanders game last night, and I was like, hey, yo, where Trae Young at? That's what I kept saying after the game. I was on the train. I'm like, hey, yo, where Trae Young at? Oh, man, that's great. All right, so I am going to copy to clipboard, and I am going to, whoever wants to join me to chat. Hello, Sean. Please do. Whoever wants to join me to chat, please do. I'm going to see if I can pin the comment. That's what I'm going to do. See if I can pin the comment, and there we go. Pin message. So whoever wants to join me to talk some Giants, feel free. We'll talk, how do you want to talk? Daniel Jones, Joe Judge, Mike Glennon. I think really what I'm looking for today, and the thing that I'm watching out for most today is how Patrick Graham is going to attack this Chargers offense, and then how the Chargers offense is going to attack this Chargers defense. I mean, that's most notably what I'm going to be looking for today. And also, I mean, let's just do this too. This was an opening thought that I had that I didn't get to. Giants schedule. How many games left are there this year? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 Giants games left. So what makes this game and this sport different from any other sport is that you have it on once a week and 16, now 17 times a year. That's it. And then 8 times at home if you attend the games. That's it. You know? So this is my message. The Giants are miserable. The Giants are bad. I know that. I recognize that. But at least we know they're bad and miserable at this point. 5 games left. Giants are on 5 more times. The team that we root for, the team that we bleed blue. Let's do it. Let's watch it. Look at my eyelashes are really weird today. Really weird. Something going on. Can you fix eyelashes without? Anyway, 5 games left. Mike Glennon is starting. He was cleared from concussion protocol. Joey, turn on your camera. I want to welcome you on first because we've been chatting and stuff. So Joey, my friend, what's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What do you got? How you feeling today? Are you thinking about the game today? Are you thinking about the future?
I'm thinking about the game today. I'm thinking about today. I'm thinking about if we can run the ball good. You know, this is a bad run defense. If we can just pursue the run, Mike Glennon can just make the right throws. We have a chance to just keep ourselves in it. Keenan Allen being out today helps us out a little bit.
Yeah.
Defense has to play one of those games today where, you know, you got to shut them down. That's the only way we can really win with this offense. But
yeah, man. So I was talking about, you know, how the Giants defense is going to attack the Chargers offense and then vice versa with Chargers offense against us. But that's also a good point where, you know, we really haven't had a lot of games this year on the schedule where we've said the Giants should or can run the ball well. Now that's mostly a reflection of the Giants rushing offense. It's not a reflection of, we've just faced really hard opponents. But that Raider game, like that was a talking point on that, that preview pod that we always have, and a talking point for that Raider game is the Giants should be able to run the ball well. They most definitely should. And the Chargers rushing off defense is worse if you look at DVOA and the efficiency metrics that I like to look at, which just sometimes better than looking at just straight up yards or yards per carry and stuff like that, because everything's about situational, right? So yeah, man, I'm especially with Saquon. I know he's had his ankle wrapped up this week, but at this point, man, it's we're in year 4 of Saquon. How many times can we say injury, injury, injury? You know what I mean? We gotta start. Yeah. We gotta start putting some more production on the board.
Of course.
We even said it in 2019 a little bit where there was a stretch of the middle of the season where he was hurt, and then by the time the Giants were definitely eliminated from playoff contention in 2019, well, that's when Saquon kind of came back when the games didn't matter. So, we need, at this point, doesn't matter if the games matter or not. We just need Saquon. We need Saquon to be Saquon.
Yeah, we need to see some production from him. I want to see him break some big runs today.
Yep.
What was it? Last week he broke off 20, 25-yard or something like that.
Yeah, and I think that was only his second or his third 20-yard carry of the year. And that's the thing with Saquon, where, he's always been a runner that's not the most efficient, but it's the weight of those negative to 0-yard gains are weighed down and not as significant because he breaks off the big runs.
Yeah.
Well, now when you're not breaking off the big runs, it's like, well, now you're just not a good running back, and that's the thing that stinks about it, where at least if you had the big runs, it would offset the negative plays of the 0-yard plays.
We need some home runs today for sure.
Yeah.
We need some home runs.
Sean says Saquon 2 touchdowns. You know what?
That'd be awesome.
I'm feeling it.
I don't have him in fantasy.
One big one, and then one on the goal line. That's how about that?
Yeah.
How about that? Jay, Joey, I saw you, Jake. Joey, I want to get you. I want to get your kind of thoughts on this, because this has been a whole big talking point. And Joey, you're on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've seen a lot of takes, and you even saw one take from another Giants content creator that Jordan Ron quote tweeted yesterday that I thought was pretty funny. Where are you on this whole? Like, would you rather see Mike Glennon because you understand from like a coach's perspective why he's going to play? Or at this point, are you just throwing your hands up in the air saying, I just want to see something different with Jake Fromm? Where are you right now with what you want to see a quarterback while Jones is out?
I've never seen Jake Fromm play. So I don't really know what he can do. I mean, if Mike Glennon is like completely awful today and he's throwing pick sixes and, is looking how he did last week after that second quarter, I mean, I guess you can give him a shot if Mike Glennon's that bad, but I don't know. I don't think Fromm is too good. I don't know.
Reading between the lines, again, we don't know this, which I don't like to talk fully about things that we don't fully know definitively. But we had Dan Schneider and Nick Filato on from Big Blue Banter on the YouTube stream this week, and they look at the All-22 and they look at it, front and back twice over. They said that they think that Mike Glennon suffered that concussion in the second quarter. And remember, at one point, he was like 10 for 11. He was like 10 for 11, and then there was a dramatic change in his play. Now, he still had a bad game. If you're concussed and you can't see or you're not throwing the ball well, you got to get yourself out of there, man.
Oh, yeah.
So that is on Glennon. I get it. You want to play. It's the competitor. I certainly wouldn't want to tell any of these guys that step on a football field that, hey, you have to come out and you can't play. But there comes a point where if you're stinking it up, you got to give the next guy a shot.
Yeah.
If he's not seeing double, then you got to get out of there. So I agree with you. If Glenn, I will be more on the, hey, let's just see it because train. Next week if Glennon does have a similar game, but before that supposed concussion, he wasn't lighting the world on fire, but he was efficient and he was moving the ball, and that's all that we can ask for. So
yeah. Also, I heard Fromm doesn't have much of an arm compared to Glennon. I mean, if we can hit, John Ross going deep or Kenny Galladay going deep with some of them deep balls.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
With the Chargers too high system, that's actually a really good point, because we're still waiting for that Kenny Galladay contested catch, right? I don't think it's going to happen today, because Brandon Staley and the Chargers, they run a very similar like Patrick Graham kind of style. I think Patrick Graham, he kind of adopted it from the Brandon Staleys and the Vic Fangios of the world, where they're running that too high, so they're just preventing the big explosive play. And the Giants are good at preventing the explosive play. However, when you run that too high system and you don't have capable linebackers and your rushing defense is suspect, then you're going to allow a lot of plays. You're not going to allow the big play, but you're still going to allow a lot of plays. And that's what's kind of going on with this Giants defense right now, where they're missing Blake desperately in the run game. They're missing Blake desperately in pass coverage in the middle of the field. And Danny Shelton is just not a capable replacement for Dalvin Tomlinson, even though Austin Johnson and Leonard Williams are okay. Danny Shelton's not a good replacement for Dalvin, and then Dexter Lawrence is not having the year that we thought that he would. So just a bad combo all around there. But that's the difference between. I'm sorry, Joey, I'm cutting you off. But that's the difference between like Patrick Graham and a guy like Garrett, where Graham is able to adjust with all of that going wrong and all of that going against him.
Right.
But a guy like Garrett, without Andrew Thomas, the ship just sank, and that's the.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. Any other, Joey? You're going to be at that Dallas game, right?
Yeah. I bought my tickets yesterday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you know that I sat in section 315 before you bought those tickets near that?
I heard you talking about that. You sit in 315. Okay. So
I was like, what are the odds?
I went to the Giants and Eagles game 2 weeks ago, and I was really trying to find you and Bobby, but that was the first time I've ever been to a Giants game. First time I've been to MetLife ever.
Yeah.
I went with my dad, my cousin, my uncle, and we didn't even have. We just thought it's like when you go there and you can just buy parking there, like a baseball game, like
Oh no, man!
No.
Did you get screwed over because you didn't get the parking pass there?
Yeah, we got screwed over.
So no.
We bought a parking pass though. 10 o'clock in the morning, and we ended up parking in like parking lot B or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it worked out. It worked out. But.
All right, brother. So we got some. I love how we got a lot of people in this waiting room here. So
awesome.
I'm gonna kick you off, but I'm gonna see you. You better get there early. L16.
Yep.
Snacks is gonna see you, and he's gonna give you a big kiss. So get ready for that.
All right. It was good talking to you.
All right. Be well, brother. Go Giants.
All righty. Go Giants.
All right. Now, I'm letting on. Now he's cutting the line a little bit. I'm sorry, but I'm letting on Brian Porras, who's a longtime Patreon member. I know we got some other Patreon members that are waiting too. Brian Porras is a longtime Patreon member, and I also want to get his take since he's a part of the Duke gang too. Really became a Giants fan when Daniel Jones was drafted by the Giants. So I want to get your take right now, as I feel like the sky is falling around Daniel Jones. And Brian, welcome. It's really nice to talk to you. The sky is falling around Daniel Jones. The sky is falling around the Giants quarterback situation. Give me your take on some Jones takes, and then also, what do you think of everybody saying that Fromm should be starting over Glennon, which is kind of crazy, at least in my opinion.
Well, as you point out, being a new Giants fan and new to following a New York team, I understand now this dynamic of in New York, there's winning, there's euphoria, and then there's misery. And there's nothing in between, right? So narratives can change drastically in the course of just a few games. So do I think that some of this negativity towards Jones is justified? Yes, I do. I think he had a tough stretch of games there. But I also remember, everybody was kind of saying how the offense was ahead of the defense earlier in the year, and Jones was a big part of that. And it's one of the few things that was holding up, right? So
right, it's a week by week league. I mean, that's the thing about the NFL, where I feel like even baseball and basketball and hockey, even though there's so many games, I feel like every sport and every fan base is a victim of the, we're gonna believe what we've just seen recently. But that is the difference between other sports like baseball, basketball, hockey, where there's so many games where, a guy could have a good 20-game stretch, but a bad 10-game stretch. And it's like, well, yeah, you still have to remember. But in the NFL, there's so little games that, if you have one really good game 2 weeks ago and then one really bad game, it's, what have you done for me lately,
Yeah. So I think there's some of that. I do think that, once Jones is healthy and cleared for contact, and if he has a couple of good games, particularly against Cowboys and the Eagles, that the narrative can change back again a little bit, right? So, and I just have to accept that there's going to be a subset of the fan base that is just not going to, they're going to want another quarterback, which is fine. I'm okay with that. That you're going to get that with any fan base, particularly in New York. There's sort of this undercurrent of negativity sometimes with some people, and that's okay. That's fine.
And the NFL is just one of those leagues where, you've seen some other teams like the Vikings, and you've seen some other teams try and pay those middling quarterbacks, which is fine. I mean, it's like Kirk Cousins is still one of those guys, regardless of what you think of him, regardless of what you think of his primetime performances. And Brian, you know how much I love Kirk Cousins, because you listen to the show all the time. But I'm not going to blame a franchise for, trying to keep a guy on the team because they kind of believe that he can do it, but they know in the back of their brain that he's never going to be elite. Like Kirk Cousins is never going to be a guy that's going to be elite for you, and that's kind of what the NFL is you're seeing the best teams and the teams that make it every single year. They have a very, very high level quarterback play, and that's the difficult thing that you got to weigh, even though you maybe like a guy like Jones, but eventually the clock is going to run out where you maybe need to give him a big payday. And if he's not one of those high end guys, then it's like, even though you like the player, it's still like, this sucks. We may have to, kind of move on from him and then start this whole thing over.
Can't justify the investment relative to the other needs of the financial of the team.
Yeah,
absolutely. So you're asking about Fromm and Glennon. So, I mean, to me, there were plays last week with the kids on the plays, and it just didn't execute. So I think, with another week to get in the rhythm, get a little some more first-team reps, I still have hope that, if the defense can ball out, Glennon has the ability to at least get enough points so that it's not going to be a pretty thing offensively. I know you're an offensive guy. I'm kind of an offensive guy too. So it's not going to be pretty, but I think they can generate enough offense to get a win, and just, at this point we need game manager, don't turn the ball over, execute the plays when they're there, and hit the guys in stride when they're open. I think Kitchens, I like some of the things that he did. You talked about this on the pod last time, and I just think there's some potential there, at least enough. I don't need to see QB4 out there who's never taken an NFL snap. I just don't need to see that.
I get it. Like, for the purposes of just wanting to and young Goldie, win, lose or draw, I'm getting absolutely sauced at SoFi today. Good for you, brother. Good for you. Enjoy LA. Yeah, but I get it from the purposes of I just want to see something different. I really do get that. But also you just have to think it through like the coach's lens of like, this guy has been here for a second, 1 second. And there are still coaches on this coaching staff who are coaching for their own jobs. Even if you think Joe Judge is safe, we could see a very different coaching staff for the Giants next year. I think Rob Sale is safe. But running backs coach, that may be a spot where it's like, well, you haven't been able to really get Saquon Barkley to run more efficiently. That may be a spot where they may want to bring in a different positions coach. Freddie Kitchens, Freddie Kitchens was supposed to be working with the offensive line in the rushing scheme this year. Like that, like, I don't know if you remember, we had Jordan Ron on over the summer, and we asked him, we're like, what is Freddie Kitchens' role? Because before he was obviously interim play caller, he's not the offense coordinator. Before he was interim play caller, because he got the promotion from tight ends coach to this vague offensive position. So we asked Jordan, we're like, what is his role? And he said like he was like the running game coordinator. I know the offensive line has been really bad this year, but nothing has worked. No play has worked for the Giants besides that. Caden Smith working as that lead blocker or that tight end that pulls across the line, and teams started to detect that because that was the thing that worked in 2020. So they know how to stop that.
Yeah.
So there may be coaches that are going to be fired.
As challenged as this offense has been, you can't make the case that we're bringing back the same offensive scheme back next year.
Yeah.
Right. You can't make that case. So if they're going to change the scheme anyway, then it's consistent with that philosophy. Now Kitchen can come in and say, okay, this is my plan. This is what I think we can execute. This is what I think we went wrong last year. Fine, you can hear them out. And some of that is going to be based on how the offense plays in the last few games of the season. But if you're going to have to scrap the offensive scheme anyway and get it with a new one, then it's fine to bring in a new coordinator and other key coordinating positions within the offense.
All right, beautiful. All right, Brian, thank you for joining us. I hate to kick you off, but we got people in here, which I love. Hakeem, I've been really getting on his nerves recently. I don't know why. I'm sorry, Hakeem. I've been getting on your nerves, but we're trying our best. We're trying to get through these 5 weeks. It's going to be a fun off season. Like I said, enjoy Giants football, but we're also going to have a fun off season with lots of talking points. So, Brian, thank you for joining us. Go Giants. Yep. See you in the Patreon chat later on tonight.
Absolutely.
All right, who we going to get on? Jersey Mile, are you here? Jersey Mile, are you here? I'm gonna kick him from his kick him. All right, Jersey Mile, are you here? I'm gonna count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm going to add Alex, Big Blue in the Bronx. Hello, my friend.
Another week, another probable disappointment.
I know, brother. And since you're, Big Blue in the Bronx YouTube channel, we've had you on before. You're going to be like my second co-host here, and I want to let other people on. Rahul, you're standing. I knew you were. See, I knew Rahul was standing up, and I wanted to catch him. I see. It's because I'm a bad guy like that. Rahul, how are you doing, brother? What's going on?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing well. Give me thoughts on, are you thinking about today's game? Are you in the camp of I'm thinking about everything else? What do we got going on in the brain today?
I'm past today's game. Week, I still believe in the season last week. Last week's loss, tough, man. That was a tough loss. Mike Glennon sucks. But I want to talk about Joe Judge. I'm a Joe Judge defendant. I think we should bring Joe Judge back. For the sole reason of since Joe Judge been on the team, the guys that we've added, I don't have any complaints from those guys. Whether that be draft or the free agency. And then if you do keep Joe Judge and bring a new GM, because if Dave Gettleman survives this summer, this offseason, I have no clue. I don't know what.
No, I'm not a reporter, but I have just such a 100%. I just know that I don't care what word they use. He's retiring. They're going to use a word that fans are going to be like, they should fire him. He's going to be gone. He's going to be gone. So Dave Gettleman is out of the picture. So but Rahul, I guarantee, and I've started to say this over and over and over again. You're going to hear me continue to say it, because whoever's listening for the first time, if you don't listen to the podcast, live stream, whatever, I'm going to say it so you can hear it and it's coming. John Mara is going to stand or sit in front of a microphone when the offseason starts and when he has his postseason press conference. And he's going to be asked, well, why bring back Joe? What do you like about Joe? I've enjoyed Joe's process. And Rahul, I agree with you. I can't disagree with you when it comes to the offseason. When it comes to the things that maybe, and again, we don't know because I don't know how much control Joe Judge has in the building. He clearly has more than Shermer did. Because the process in the offseason has been too different from 2018 to 2019 and then 2020 and 2021. There's something different. I don't know how much impact he has, but I think Mara enjoys Joe's process. Now, what Joe Judge needs to improve is the in-season process, which he's actually paid and which actually is in his job description, which is the funny thing that the thing that Joe Judge needs to improve most on is the thing that is his biggest job requirement, which is being the coach of this team. And most notably, the offensive side of the ball. Have to give him credit for defense. Alex, where are you on this? I'm talking too much.
Let me just comment in the comment mentioned me in the chat. Can we make a wild card spot? If you're talking about the Giants, probably not, but road to 9-8. But the Yankees, if you're talking about my hat, then who the hell knows? But I'll say
9-8. We're going 9-8 until we can't go 9-8. So probably,
I think that's after this week, right?
Yeah, so probably like 9 o'clock tonight. Probably 9 o'clock tonight.
Yeah. So let me say this, and I personally am on the train of get rid of Joe Judge after this year. And I don't like the process of, every 2 years fire head coach. And I don't think necessarily this is all Joe Judge's fault. I think it's John Mara's. Here's what I'll explain. And this is just, fans. I'm not saying Rahul, obviously. I'm saying other people. They're coming up with these arguments. Well, Joe Judge needs to be kept in the 2 years. Respectfully, you brought in a guy who is inexperienced, who's never had a head coaching position. We'll need some time to groom. Okay, why build a win now roster his second year? It doesn't make any sense. So what they could have done from there is just kept drafting, kept building up draft picks, kept the process going. And then when he's ready, when he's shown you some stuff, you finally go out there and get the free agents. The finishing touches how a NFL franchise, how any franchise should really do it. But that's on John Mara. That's on Dave Gettleman, obviously. But as for Joe Judge, he really has not shown me anything that he's worth keeping around. I really dislike this idea of, because I think Ian Rappaport came out with a report yesterday that they're looking to find somebody within the building or within the New England spectrum to fit what Joe Judge, his philosophy and stuff like that. That makes no sense at all. I mean, you take a look at New England the last couple of years, they have not been able to draft. Bill Belichick has been making up for it because he's a good coach and he's trying to run it back with Mac Jones this time. But they're obviously inside the building. It just doesn't make any sense again because that's Dave Gettleman. That's among a bunch of others. And, I just don't see how John Mara doesn't look at our crosstown counterparts in the New York Jets. That's what they did. After, I say this 100 times, probably a million, they fired Mike Maccagnan after the 2019 draft and free agency because Adam Gase didn't like the Le'Veon Bell signing amongst other signings. Yeah. And then he took part in hiring Joe Douglas, and a lot of people are skeptical of Joe Douglas amongst other guys, even Robert Saleh. So their process is flawed, and I just don't understand why John Mara would just look into that and say, hey, it's a plan for success. But Joe Judge with his conservative philosophy is not really me putting him on his train. I root for success, but I just don't see that there's anything to build on. I think it just needs to be a clean divorce. Same thing with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Can I make 1 point real quick?
Yeah,
so, I think everything you said is right, but the only problem with it is as a New York fan, we're always super optimistic. In the offseason, we're like, all right, this year playoffs. But when you're sitting here today looking at this season so far, besides the Falcons game, we should have won the Falcons game. Outside of that, the Washington game, it's a divisional game. You can't expect to win every divisional game, right? You're gonna go 3-3 on this. The Miami loss hurts, but are you gonna blame Joe Judge for losing when he has a backup quarterback in that 1-2 at Mike Glennon? It's just like sure, we were optimistic and sure we could have 2 or 3 wins more right now. But at the same time, coming into the season, did we have the talent to beat the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, the Rams, the games that we did lose by a lot? You can't fault them for that.
Well, here's what it comes down to. I like how you're looking at situational game by game, but even some of the games that we've won, I heard Carl Banks say that the Raider game and the Panther game, the games at which the Giants won before they lost against Miami, they were staple wins. What? The Giants don't score points, and that's the bottom line. I'm at a point where I don't care what they do defensively. I don't care what they do coach-wise, blah, blah, blah. Until the Giants start scoring points at above average rate on a per drive basis, and until they start producing explosive plays at an above average rate, because that's the NFL today. Can you produce explosive plays? Can you stop explosive plays, which the Giants do very, very well? But can you produce explosive plays on the offensive side of the ball? Can you score points? I mean, that is the NFL today, and you see that, the top end quarterbacks, they do that. Yes. Herbert's one of them where, even though Herbert doesn't produce explosive plays at a bananas rate, he's able to operate a very, very efficient offense where that Chargers offense is ranked second in efficiency according to DVOA with Football Outsiders. So, until the Giants start doing that, I don't care who's coaching this team, who's the GM, until they start doing that and they start putting it on the football field in that way, I'm not going to be fully behind the direction of the franchise. That's the bottom line. So Rahul, like I said, I love how you pointed to the specific games, but at the end of the day, Joe Judge needs to score more points as a head coach, and his teams need to score more points. That's the bottom line, because these last 2 years, it has been, I did the whole, throughout the last 20 years, I did the whole where the Giants rank in a points per drive basis. The last 20 years, it is 2002, 2003 bad. 2002, 2003, 2004 bad. It is that bad. And that was, right before Eli Manning came.
That's fair. I think, again, I don't know. Maybe I'm giving too many excuses for Joe Judge, but, we're missing 3 offensive linemen. Nate Solder is just a bag of potatoes sitting there. Not really, so again.
Which those are all valid. Those are all very, very valid. But also it was this coaching staff and this, if John Mara is gonna stand up there and say that I've enjoyed Joe's process, and he's gonna hint at, hey, we've enjoyed Joe's process and the things that he's integrated in the offseason, well, it's like, well, then I have to also believe that Joe Judge was a part of the decision that Nate Solder should be starting, and they did not address right tackle at all during free agency. And Nate Solder was their plan for right tackle or to be the only swing tackle, which that is, that's been a mind-blowing conversation as the weeks have gone on. Alex, do you feel like you have your hand up?
Yes. I always do that on streams because I want to be polite. Obviously, there's some great points there. Here's what I will say. There's definitely, within the first couple of games, I definitely will blame, the talent and stuff like that. I could also blame Joe Judge. I could blame Patrick Graham, and I'm going to go into it right now. We can sit here and actually agree that this offensive line is trash. Mm-hmm. However, despite the fact that we had Mike Glennon as the quarterback last week, was it nearly the same personnel on offense as we had in that one game against the New Orleans Saints? Mm-hmm. I mean, John Ross, Darius Slayton, Kenny Golladay. Sure, you're facing, a defense that does something differently, but at the same time, New Orleans was a better defense at the time. I mean, I know Miami's coming on, but they also allowed the most yards in the NFL, and Joe Judge just didn't take action within the first couple of weeks. And you can struggle as a defense in the first couple of weeks. That's my belief in the NFL. If you have a good offense, if you have an overpowering offense like the Kansas City Chiefs, like all these other teams across the NFL, you can have a defense that struggles the first couple of weeks and finds their way midway. The Rams are an example. The Titans are an example. There's a lot of examples across the league.
Patriots. I feel like the Patriots struggle. That's a big talking point that they always say on the national broadcast, is that's exactly what the Patriots do, and then they find their way.
Right. And, Joe Judge, in my opinion, should have stepped in with the first 1 to 4 weeks where James Bradbury was playing 17 yards off of Terry McLaurin, or, they're playing zone, or whatever the situation was within the first couple of weeks of the defense. And you know what? As I said, you can sit here and say, oh, well, the defenses in the NFL, they really don't do good the first couple of weeks. Not necessarily. In the case that the Giants have, and they're depending on the defense, and Justin's referred to it several times, the quote of Joe Judge, scoring touchdowns is not important every drive. Yeah. Well, you know what? That's the new age of the NFL, and that's his conservative philosophy, something I necessarily don't agree with. And tell me this. I know Lawrence Tynes had a source in the building that was talking about Nate Solder and why he's starting and stuff like that Matt Parrott supposedly doesn't have the dog. Why does he have the dog to play left tackle, but he doesn't have the dog to play right tackle? Why did you sign Isaiah Wilson? Why did you sign Isaiah Wilson for a flyer, but you're still having Will Hernandez out there, and at this point, it doesn't make a difference. You move literally what you can do with this offensive line, and it's worthless at this point. What they should have done, though, with all these, pre-waiver wire trades and all that stuff, what you could do, what an offensive line you can actually form to evaluate the rest of the year is Andrew Thomas at left tackle, Ben Bredesen at left guard, Matt Skura at center, Isaiah Wilson at right guard, and Matt Parrott at right tackle. That way, you actually know what you have going into next year, because Billy Price he's on what, his 4th or 5th year option. He's at the end of his rookie contract. He's not here next year. Will Hernandez isn't here next year. Nate Solder's not a future starter. So they should have pulled Nate Solder. They should have pulled Nate Solder, but I don't believe in this crap. Oh, well, he doesn't have enough dog in him. Yeah, maybe you see that in practice, but when you give game reps, I don't understand that. And when you give game reps more to Corey Cunningham, who is a practice squad guy, than to Matt Parrott, I mean,
it's crazy. They replaced Matt Parrott as like that jumbo tight end with Corey Cunningham. They hate him.
The media cost him his job.
They hate him. It's crazy. And the take that they have, and this is Rob Sale and Joe Judge, where, it's kind of crazy that Joe Judge and really this Joe Judge coaching staff, they don't really talk specifically about players a lot in general. Like, they'll talk, I don't think they go glowingly Google Gaga over anybody specifically. They'll say, this guy does a good job. He does some things well. They went in on Parrott. And could it be because they feel like they need to defend themselves over starting Solder? Sure. But I also do think it's true that, you saw it at UConn where, yeah, he was bullying UConn competition, but it wasn't anything like fantastic. And then the critique and the whole point of, even if I always like to go back to our summer talking points when Bobby and we have our PPP series where we talk about each individual Giants player or the most important Giants players. And one thing that we said is that I want to see more aggression out of Matt Parrott. Like, he's very passive when it comes to that initial punch. And when he gets his hands on you, when he gets locked in, you're not moving, you're not going anywhere. But that's the issue of, like, he's got to get locked in, and that takes a little time. He's not a mauler of a right tackle. And we knew that. And if we know that, then I guarantee you those Giants coaching staff better know it too. So all that's fine. But the fact that it's Nate Solder that's starting over him, that's the thing that's worse. If it was Mike Remmers, cool. I get it. Matt Parrott's not it. Start Mike Remmers. Even if it's Cam Fleming, but okay, I'm fine with it. But the fact that it's Nate Solder just makes it all that worse. Rahul, I'm kicking you off, but it's not because I don't like you. I really loved you. But we got a lot of people. Go Giants. Are we winning today? No.
Maybe if Patrick Graham, I'm gonna build a shrine for him if we win today.
Patrick Graham, all right, I love it.
17-14. Right. Let's go.
Believing it will happen. All right, we're gonna Dan, Giants man.
Hey, how's it going?
You're here.
Yeah.
What's going on, brother?
Nothing. I've just been depressed, so I was just happy to see you guys were live and wanted to share my depression with my fellow Giants fans. Is there any way we could impeach ownership? Because I feel like it's we've got to destroy the tree and replant it at this point.
Dude, they care. I mean, that's the thing. We're caring. It doesn't do anything for you, But I guess that makes me feel a little bit better. I don't know, man. I think they care too much, and the problem with the Giants organization as the years have kind of gone on is they haven't realized the necessary steps that need to happen in order to rebuild correctly. And you saw that in 2018. I mean, you saw that immediately in April of 2018, where, it still maybe is a controversial topic, but Saquon Barkley, I get signing Nate Solder, except you should have just signed a better player. Nate, if we were doing, I'm wholeheartedly in saying this. If Bobby and I were doing content in 2018, we would have looked at that Nate Solder film and then looked at his play and be like, this guy's not good. Like, Nate Solder was never a good left tackle. And just going out and recklessly spending that money all everybody talked about in 2018, by the way, and defending Dave Gettleman, Jerry Reese set him up in a terrible cap situation. Well, look at the money that he went out and he spent that offseason. Patrick Omameh to a multiple-year deal, Kareem Martin to a multiple-year deal, Nate Solder to a multiple-year deal. Nate Solder was the highest paid offensive lineman of all time. So I don't want to hear that, Jerry Reese set him up in a terrible cap situation. He still went out and spent that money. Long story short, Dan, the Giants organization and John Mara needs to understand and accept that there is a lot wrong with this franchise. And there are a lot of things that need to change. It may not even take years, but there are a lot of things that need to change that will be very humbling for him to accept. It could happen in a year. It could happen in 2 if they do it right, because teams have rebuilt in 1 or 2 years. But odds are for the Giants, it won't happen because they won't look themselves in the mirror and say, we need to rebuild. We need to strip this down.
What do you think the motivation is behind them lying to us about, because we can see the eye test. When Matt Parrott's out there, he does better than Nate Solder. I don't care what PFF says or anybody. We all can tell this. So why are they lying to us about it? That's what I don't understand. They're saying that Nate Solder is better on the field. I just don't see it.
Alex, I gave my kind of my piece on it. What do you got?
I guess at this point it would be saving face. Not just because, it was a Gettleman signing, but I guess because, Solder was with Judge in New England. So that has to be where it is. And it just all comes down to, not just in practice, but game reps. I mean, you're telling us, yeah, maybe he doesn't have that dog in practice, but Nate Solder is he
Nate
gets
Solder doesn't have that dog in him.
Yeah, he gets beat every play. I'm pretty sure. Like every time I watch him, he's getting beat. Like I've never seen
he's
him
getting crossed up in a basketball game.
Yeah,
Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good point about the whole New England thing. You saw it with Kyle Rudolph over the offseason. The Giants are going to do certain things in a Giant-like way, right? Where when we heard that Kyle Rudolph had that foot problem and he needed foot surgery, the Giants didn't even renegotiate the contract. They just kept it the same. I understand not wanting to cut him, but it's like, hey, you're gonna miss time and you're gonna be slow to start the season. We're not paying you this much to be a backup tight end. They're like, nope, we're gonna do things the Giants way. And I think it's the same thing with Solder. I think they like Solder as a person. They respect the journey that he's been on, and they want to play him. That's the only reasonable, which is still, it's not good. It's the only reasonable explanation that I can come with is that they just like him as a person and they just want to play him and they don't want to embarrass him. But leaving him on that football field is more embarrassing because he's a joke every week.
You're 100% right. It's really depressing to watch. And I just hate being lied to because as Giants fans, I like to consider ourselves a higher football IQ than most.
Yeah,
like we understand coverages and blocking schemes, and like to lie to us is just so insulting.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry about that. It bothers me still.
No, it's a good conversation, and it's one that reflects, it's one that reflects a lot of failures of.
Are you guys still there?
Current coaching staff. Yes.
We're still here.
Yes. We're here. We're here, Dan. Dan, can you hear us? You got us?
Oh yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Man, I wanted to show you guys something cool.
You're we don't have you on camera right now. So maybe
What?
maybe try turning it off and then turning it back on.
Do you got me?
No. Go to the little wrench that's by
The
Cam
settings
and Mike.
tab.
Yeah.
Little tab that's on the bottom and see if you can fool around with that. Let's see. We have 2 first-round picks. This is true. This is true. Excited for that. Dan, we got you now.
Yes.
You're frozen. You're frozen, but we got you.
Can you guys see me now? I wanted to show you guys this just because I like to break this out. It's a 4-time Super Bowl champion jersey.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Right? I got the home and the away, dude.
I love it, Dan. Dan, you are frozen for us, but I want to thank you for coming on. We got a couple people waiting. We got a couple people that's going on. Dan, give us a game prediction today. What are you feeling?
Man, I want to say the Giants win, but I'm just feeling a loss. I'm sorry. I got to be real. 21-10, 21-10. Our defense plays well, but our offense can't block their way out of a paper bag. So 21-10.
Hey, we get 1 offensive touchdown. I'll take it. Dan, thank you for joining, and we'll talk to you soon. Go Giants.
Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to go for about 15 more minutes. 12:45. Then you can stuff food in your face, go take a shit. Like that. There was a guy before that said he had to take a poop. And I was like, oh, thanks. So tuck your shirts in, and then we can watch some football at 1 o'clock and, wait for 3 hours. I do want to let on our friend Ishan. Tell me, am I getting it right? Ishan? Am I getting your pronunciation name right?
Yep.
Beautiful. What's going on, brother? How you feeling? How you doing?
Good.
What do you got for us? What are you feeling? Are you thinking about today's game? You think about the future of the Giants? What's on the brain?
Yeah, I'm kind of optimistic about today's game.
Yeah. Why not? Right? Chargers got a bad rushing defense.
Wide receiver out.
Wide receiver out. Still even some guys that are playing
Quarterback
for them.
2 out.
They are struggling. They are struggling with injuries. Yeah, cornerback 2 is out. That I will say the play that I think should be there all day, because I do think that there are some gaps and some holes in this Chargers defense, even though they played that too high. The mini post that Kenny Golladay runs, that's been the play that has worked best for him this year. It hasn't necessarily resulted in 20+ yard gains, but it's resulted in a lot of those 15 to 19 yard gains. So, if we can get 17 points, like I think Rahul was saying before, 17-14, 17 points, and then you just got to hope that Patrick Graham can give you one of those, Patrick Graham called games. So that's that's the path, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be like one of those, like last year against the Seahawks. Colt McCoy went in there.
Yeah, why
it was
not?
Like a tight game, like low scoring. His defense.
I'm with you.
Was the whole point of the game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. Where you from? You make it out to Giants games often?
I'm from Dallas.
You're from Dallas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Do you get a lot of crap like at school and stuff like that, or what?
Yeah, I get into conflicts a lot, but not physically, just verbally.
You wear it proud. You wear it proud. You walk out in Dallas and you got your Giants gear on proud, right?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. All right, you got anything else for us, my friend? What are the comments you got? Give me a wild take. Wild take that's on your brain.
Saquon's gonna go off for 100+ yards from scrimmage.
I love it. From scrimmage or rushing? This is a key difference.
Rushing, because I think like the Chargers are like 31st in the league against the run.
They are. Let's have a fun exercise. Well, I guess this isn't fun.
That is. I'm pretty sure that is actually 100% correct.
When is the last time Saquon Barkley's had a 100-yard rushing game?
It has to be that Eagle game 2 years ago, the last game with fans before Denver.
2019.
Because he has not had any. I mean, he's had 100-yard scrimmage, I believe, against the Saints, but nothing other than that.
So the highest that he's had this year is 57 yards. And against the Eagles, week 17 of 2019, he had 92 rushing yards. So you have to go back to Washington, the Chase Young Bowl, where he had 189 rushing yards. So there you go. That is the last time that Saquon Barkley had over 100 rushing yards. Ishan, thank you for joining us, my friend. I appreciate you. We got some other people that are waiting in the wings, and we're going to be going for about 12 more minutes. So go Giants, brother. I appreciate you.
Go Giants. Thank you.
Sean.
What's up?
How are you, my friend?
Hanging in there. You know.
I like the hat.
Yeah.
Are you cold?
Nah, it's just my style, you know.
I appreciate it. I dig it. I dig
Thank
it.
you.
How you feeling?
You know, it just sucks that we're in December and we're just thinking about the draft, off season, football. It's I don't know. I'm down. I'm probably the lowest I've been since like 2017.
Yeah, I mean,
in terms
at least 20.
You
know, when 2018 you had the irrelevant games, right? It was like Eli, and it's like, we're gonna draft a quarterback. It's probably gonna happen, and first year Gettleman, it's like, Now when you have those expectations attached to the season, right?
Well, when you spend that much in the off season,
yeah,
and you pretty much, in the first round you get Kadarius Toney, a skill position player, which pretty much tells you we're going all in. Which, I still want an offensive lineman, but that's neither here nor there. Just kind of going all in, putting all the chips on the table and saying, let's see what we got. And it's December, and it's just the same thing every year. And it's just, well, now we're already talking about, should we get rid of the general manager? Should we get rid of our coach? Should we get rid of both? Like, it's just the same thing every 1 or 2 years. We're talking about that. We're talking about who should we get rid of? This person stay. Like that. It's tiring. It's exhausting. It's just exhausting. I can't wait until we start winning because we're just gonna go crazy. We're just gonna go crazy, and everyone's gonna know that we're winning, and that's what I'm looking forward to. But it's hard to be optimistic. And it's just, I don't know. It's mentally kind of exhausted.
Yeah, man.
That's how I'm feeling.
If I may add two things. Well, one thing, actually it's going to be three things. Sean is my entire mood right now. Just like, well, what do we got? What do we got to evaluate? What it's every 2 years, every 3 years, the same crap, right? I disagree wholeheartedly with Kvass's comment, basically saying that the Giants' offensive line is not that bad. I could understand where the Daniel Jones point comes in, but if Saquon Barkley or Devontae Booker can't run, I'm not going to sit there and say that. I just wholeheartedly disagree. And I thought about this, a couple hours ago. As Justin said, at least we had Eli in 2018 and Daniel Jones to evaluate in 2019. This is like the 2018 Washington football team where they had Alex Smith. He gets hurt. Colt McCoy gets in. He gets hurt. They start Mark Sanchez against us. Then Josh Johnson comes in, and that's pretty much that. So unless Daniel Jones comes back, which God only knows, but this feels like the 2018 Washington football team all over again.
Yeah, even in 2018, Saquon was going crazy. Like we had something to sort of latch on to. Like there's really not even like a player to latch on to this year. That's like this big star that excites you. Like there's nothing really to like it's not Joe Judge's first year. Like it's just kind of like it's just depressing to watch. It really is. It really sucks the life out of you. I feel like I go into every game this year and I'm like, well, all right, like let me try to be a little optimistic and go into this, kind of. And then at the end of it, I am just like I put my hands up and it's like a cycle every week. It's like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing every week, and it just.
We were talking about what did that comment say?
It said that the Giants' offensive line is actually not that bad in the Daniel Jones. Well, I mean, he said that the Dolphins' offensive line's worse, but he also
that is very true. The Dolphins are ranked worse, and you can see on the top left how the Dolphins are ranked worse. But look who's number 2.
Over the last few weeks, they've made some strides. Against crappy teams, yes, but
big strides. Look at that, right by the Carolina Panthers for worst offense, worst pass protection. Now, here's the thing: I can't be a hypocrite. Where this graph. So this is by Ben Baldwin, which I love. I love Ben Baldwin and the data that he compiles. I do not love the metrics that are out there for offensive line play. I don't think that there is a singular good metric for evaluating offensive line play, especially pass block win rate from ESPN.
Yeah.
Which I understand, like if you look at the pass rush defense and then the rushing defense, win rate for defensive players is a lot easier to understand and grasp because especially as a pass rusher, hey, did you beat your man or not? Like that's what it comes down to. And you can see the Giants are pretty bad in there too, on the top right. But for pass blocking and for run blocking, like how do you evaluate who wins? Like, if a center goes and here I'll get this off the screen now. I think people get the point that the Giants' offensive line is bad. If a center goes and demolishes a defensive tackle in a pass pro when he doesn't have a nose tackle that's right in front of him, but a guy like Aaron Donald gets in and he's one-on-one with the left guard and he gets in with the sack, is that recognized as a loss for the center? And also blocking schemes, like we don't know blocking schemes, we don't know responsibilities, so how are we going to determine like wins and losses? So I'm all on analytics. Like I literally have a stats report video that I do every week on YouTube, and I'm like the only person that does that, so I'm all in on analytics. But for offensive line stuff, I just try to think with my brain and be like, hey, I think this still needs to be developed a little bit more. So that's my little rant. This should be used as like a reference and like a comparison to the rest of the league. It shouldn't necessarily just be the sole reflection on why the Giants' offensive line is bad. The Giants' offensive line is bad. It's because they're bad, not because, PFF or ESPN says.
I think it's important to get a mix of both analytics, but also an eye test.
Yeah,
sort of see what you see in the field, but also, use analytics to back up your points. And I mean, from what you just showed, it's terrible. It's awful.
Like that makes sense. Like the fact that is ranked the way that it is.
If we were ranked super high, I would scratch my head and then kind of like ask, well, how do they measure this? Like, what's the tools they use? How do they?
Yeah,
like that. I would question it.
I made a video, and it's on YouTube. It was a random video that I made, and I just threw it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Dan Schneider likes it, and he refers to it a lot. Where I made like it's 4-minute video on why I don't trust the ESPN pass win rate or pass block win rate, stuff like that. And if you search it, like Talking Giants ESPN win rate, I think it should come up. And the creator of the metric said Like there's in explaining what the metric is in the article, he's like, I don't know if even I would trust this fully for offensive line play. I'm like, okay, if the creator is saying this, I don't know if I should fully believe it. What really bugs me is that you'll see, because it's a win rate and because it makes sense, it's a percentage. 89% win rate, 95% win rate. That means it's good, and that means you're a really good player. Like sometimes it's just not that simple. Where like when PFF grades, the higher the number is, the better player, and it makes sense to people's brains. When not, it doesn't always like work like that. The football, game of football is nuance.
Yeah, let me say this about pass block win rate. What was I say? Back in 2019, Tyron Smith and Jason Peters had the same pass block win rate as Nate Solder. We all know that there were so different results.
Do you remember that there was a Giants content creator that
I'm pretty aware
as evidence, and we got into, we don't usually get
stats. I know all about that. I mean, I'm not mentioning names. I'm kind of friends with him, but I'm getting
a phone call from Snacks, and I'm going to answer it. So Alex, keep that point. Snacks, you're live on WFAN 101.9 FM with Tiki Barber. What's going on, buddy?
That's really not funny.
All right, but seriously, you're live on YouTube, so watch what you say. What's going on? How are you?
Oh, what's up? I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were live right now.
That's okay. I mean, you should have gotten notification. You should have checked Twitter.
I'm telling you, I haven't been on Twitter all day. I've been cleaning my fucking house, but sorry.
It's all right.
I don't get YouTube notifications. It's the most infuriating thing in the world.
No, turn the bell on. It's quite a simple process.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe you.
It is. It's yeah. Well, you're not good with technology.
Takes 2 seconds.
Snacks, how do you feel about the game today?
We're gonna win today.
Oh, really? 9-8.
Yeah. Yes. Justin, you know me. You're gonna have to kill me before I stop believing.
That is true. You've been in a very violent mood.
I respect
recently. Snacks has been asking people, like we're in a group chat with some friends on Twitter, and Snacks has been asking people to come drive to his house and fight him.
Yeah, I gave my address and everything.
Are those Barstool people coming today?
They are.
When are they coming? Like I thought they should be there now.
3:00.
They should have filmed you from the second you woke up in the morning and you chugged a bottle of Pinot Grigio at 9 a.m.
Listen, I didn't start drinking until 10, so.
Oh, all right, good for you.
Yeah, I'm mature.
Good for you.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win today. We're gonna run the ball. Mike Glennon's not gonna have any turnovers.
Okay.
And the defense is gonna have a touchdown. We're gonna win.
Who's gonna have a touchdown?
The defense.
Oh, the
I don't
defense.
know who, but somebody on the defense. Yeah.
Okay.
Aaron Robinson.
Aaron Robinson. I would look. Hey, awesome. Snacks. What do you? That Aaron Robinson's a ball player, huh?
I love him. He's my favorite Giant.
Yeah, he's slowly becoming my favorite Giant right now.
Dude, he's a ball player. And shout out to Football Grump, because when we were live with him and we made that pick, he was the one that was raving about him.
Yeah, we had no idea who he was, and then Football Grump comes on.
No idea who he was, and he was raving about him. So shout out to Football
Grump. You didn't know who he was. That's why you're not coming to the Senior Bowl with us, and Football Grump is.
What?
Yeah, you're not coming to the Senior Bowl with us. Football Grump is.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. All right. I love you. Let's go.
You,
Roan is doing a video on Snacks. I don't know who Roan is from Barstool, but apparently he's somebody big.
Very funny. He's very funny.
So Julian's in here, and he said Roan is doing a video on Snacks, which is very true.
Yeah. Well, tell Julian I said hi. All right, go do your thing. I'm sorry.
Maybe if Max can take some behind the scenes videos, and then I can send them to Julian, and he can edit them up.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. That's the plan. Max is coming over, so.
I love giving more work to Julian. All right, I love you, Snacks.
All right, I love you too. Enjoy. Have a good show.
All right, goodbye. My friend Justin Martini was in here before. He was in the studio and he's gone. I would like him to come back. All right, it is 12:45, and I said 12:45. And usually, I always love to end with the super chat. Giant player of the game and Chargers player of the game. Chargers player of the game is no one. Giant player of the game. Who was my Giant factor? Aaron Robinson. I said Aaron Robinson on the show. My Giant factor is Aaron Robinson. And then an underrated Giant factor is Azeez, because how awesome would it be if Azeez got a sack against Rashawn Slater, which people like Sean wanted to take Rashawn Slater. I'm also going to let this Tajal. You've been waiting, which I didn't give you any warning that I was letting you on. What is happening with your camera right now, Tajal?
I'm on my phone.
You're on your phone. Well, it's a very funny image.
It's like an abstract art piece.
It's like, yeah, you're like white, brown, blue, and then green on the bottom.
Looks like MetLife Stadium.
No, first of all, MetLife is colorful. Tajal, I really want you to look on YouTube and see what you look like right now.
Oh, I gotta go see it.
Independent outsider, thank you for the super chat. Alex, you're a smart, intelligent human being. Who should be looking out for on the Chargers if you even have that on your brain?
I would say either Mike Williams or Mike Williams. Well, I have three.
He's a big play guy.
Well, Joey Bosa definitely, because he's going up against Nate Solder. So I mean that's number one. But offensively, it's probably going to be either Mike Williams. I don't think Jared Cook's gonna have a good game, or who's there two this game? It's either Jalen Guyton or Josh Palmer.
If Bobby dies, who takes his place on the pod? Really nice
runoff election.
Really nice profile picture, by the way. That's a great question. I think it's going to have to be Tajal's, just so I can look at this interesting image that he has.
That's going to be the whole podcast.
Have you looked at it on YouTube yet, and have you seen what you look like?
Yeah.
It's pretty funny, right? I kind of don't want you to change it.
I don't keep it right here then.
I don't want you to fix it. If Bobby dies, who takes his place on the pod? It'll just be all right. So here's what I'm thinking.
Do a runoff election.
We could do an election, because technically we did run for president. Now, I was the vice president, so if the president dies, I become the president. Who's third in command?
That would be the
Snacks.
The Speaker of the House?
Snacks, Danny King, Football Grunt. I don't know. It's a good question though. Thank you for asking it, Eddie. What do we got? I've got a toast to my Jesus. Grump or Snack? That's probably who it would be. All right. I want to let in before we leave, and this is going to be a very. I don't know if we've ever had 5 people.
Let's do it.
Justin Martini. How are you, my friend? It's nice to see you.
Dude, great name, first of all. First name. Great name.
It's great first name, right?
Yeah. When were you born? Like 98?
Yes, that's actually a great guess.
Well, because I am too, and like I'm pretty sure you're 23. So I mean, I guess our parents are on the same wave there.
You look like I look like a child compared to you.
Dude, if I shave my face, I look 12 years old.
You're a very famous man, and a lot of maybe people in the Giants community don't know that. Can you plug yourself right now, please?
I'm famous in fitness. I'm not famous in any other realm of life. But
I'm famous in Giants land. I'm not famous in other Giants.
Dude, and like you're how I am, like I can go into a certain I go to like a gym and people are like, "Oh, dude, like can I get a picture?" And then I'm out in public and people are like, "Who the hell is this stupid kid?
Yeah.
What's going on?" So I mean, I guess you're the same way with Giants fans, but
yeah.
It's tough being a Giants fan. Let me tell you. It's tough.
What's the toughest part of it right now?
Well, I grew up in South Jersey, man, so everyone's Eagles fans. And, in elementary school, middle school, we were winning the Super Bowls and everything. And I was like, yeah, I'm a Giants fan. And now it's tough, man. It's tough.
How you feeling? Like, give us a quick vibe check on, where are you thinking about the game today? You thinking about future? What are you thinking about?
I mean, I'm a huge believer in DJ. I mean, before this season, I was so excited. Like, on paper, you got, Evan Ingram, you got Kenny Galladay, you got Shepard, I lived in Florida, so, I mean, I always knew about, Kadarius Toney. I mean, so many playmakers. It's like, wow, this offense is going to be crazy. And our defense is already on the up with Patrick Graham. And then it's just, nothing happened. And I'm just so disappointed, I haven't been this excited since the Giants dropped, that boat picture, that season. I was like, here we go. We got something. And it's tough. I mean, how, honestly, if everyone played to their potential and how they're supposed to, how would you even, guard this offense? It's Daniel Jones can run, he can pass, he's got
well, Jason Garrett would still be here, and unfortunately, the cap of this offense with Jason Garrett was average. Which honestly,
no matter what, even if that maximum potential, I get what you're saying. Can't really do anything. It's not like we have Peyton Manning calling audibles. Daniel Jones is going to audible out of all those plays he should have. But I just feel bad for DJ, and I really hope we stick with him, and I hope he figures it out so we can keep him. But I mean, I don't know. It's tough.
CGR has been on one today, and he said this guy's famous, but he's nervously pacing. He's a fitness
Dude,
guru.
I'm gonna be honest.
He's a I'm gonna defend you here. You're a
I'll
fitness
defend
guru.
myself. I got you.
You need to move.
No. I just got done cardio and I took a bunch of fat burners and stimulants, so like I'm going like at 100 miles an hour. Like I'm sweating my balls
Look,
off.
it's the cool down. I read about this in health class.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
the
like
cool
dying
down.
right now. My
You
heartbeat
can't-
is like 180
You
beats
can't
per
just
minute.
sit down. All I do all day is I sit in this chair and I talk. I mean, that's all I do. So you move. That's what
Yeah,
you do.
no. I thought the game was at 1, so I was trying to get in like a quick workout, and then I realized it was like 4, and I was like, oh, well, just rushed for no reason.
You have a big house. You just keep walking.
Yeah, just I'm balling out here.
Where's your dog?
Cash. He actually just took his collar off because he's terrible, but he's also a Giants fan.
Oh yes.
But we got to get him. We got to do a dog podcast. We got to get all the Talking Giants dogs.
Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, well, Bobby will tell you that his dog died.
Yes,
Sure.
you know, cigarettes. I heard.
Yeah.
That's tough, man.
Lucy smoked too many cigarettes
That's
and she
tough,
died.
man.
Our dogs don't smoke cigarettes, so they're all right.
Nah, I'm living a long life over here.
Yeah. So yeah, we will do a dog pod one day. Okay, it is 12:52. Tajal, I will see you in the Patreon group chat later.
Yes, sir.
Which I need to take a screenshot of this of this face that's happening right now. I don't know how. I've never seen this before. It's actually very funny. Can anyone tell me what the real definition of a cowboy is? Any person that knows, go. And then that's how we're gonna end this. How about this?
No clue.
A wuss. All right, there we go.
Ooh.
Wrapping it up. Go Giants. Giants win 77-0 today. You heard it here first. Be well. Thank you all. End broadcast. Yes, I'm sure.